until something better came along. 1,000 words ain't enough to define the body of, yeah. Got a look and she wants it bad. She's firing up that body up, yeah, babe. You think that I want you, but not babe. You're one in a million, but it's not for me. I'm not into girls with a plastic trace. Don't take it too personally, yeah. My fault, my bad. The word's out, but you aren't ready for it. Show off, appearance of I got this, but I
Always on tonight. Throw that thing from left, right, side to side. Yeah. All my friends are here. Play my favorite song right on top. Yeah. And we never stop. Music bumping, we just keep on rolling. Yeah. No, we never stop. Shake, shake, shake your honey till the morning. Let me hear you say I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on, now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Let me hear you say I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on, now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Yeah, I said I wanna see you slide, slide, slide. I said I wanna see you shine, shine, shine. Oh, it's on tonight. Throw that thing from left, right, side to side. Yeah, all my friends are here. Play my favorite song right on time. Ooh, and we never stop. Music pumping, we just keep on rolling. No, we never stop. Shake, shake, shake your honey till the morning. Let me hear you say I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on, now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Let me hear you say I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on, now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Yeah, I said I wanna be a slide, slide, slide. Yeah, come on now. see ya. I wanna see you. So let me hear you sigh. I said I wanna see you slide, slide, slide. I said I wanna see you shine, shine, shine. Let me hear you say I'm ready. Come on. Now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Let me hear you say I'm ready. Come on. Now slide, slide, slide to the bar. Shine, shine, shine like a star.
I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you wanna glimpse the future, you need space. And you said put down your morning gun. Would you follow me to wander? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in.
wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear, they will let you down. So we better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world. 'Cause we got love, love. I need only you here with me. You wanna get close to me, why don't you do it right now? You know we met for a reason, but you're trying to deny that we should be together. It's heavy weather, we're heading for tonight. You better take what you can, 'cause the time is right now. We only need the two of us. We better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. We only need the two of
This is what we came for. Let's find out what we're made of tonight. The way you rock the dance floor, I can feel your heartbeat on mine. I don't know what I'm in for, but baby, keep it going. I don't mind. We dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. My hands on your body, surroundings getting foggy tonight, but we just getting started. Sophistical and thoughtless unite, and we just wanna stay here. It's obvious, it's so clear now. I know what I'm in for, so baby, keep it going. I don't mind. We dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. We dance like nobody's watching. We dance like nobody's watching. When you rock the dance floor, I can feel your heartbeat on mine. I don't know what I'm in for, but baby, keep it going. I don't mind. We dance like nobody's watching. We dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the PGS, the Paladins Global Series. Back in action here on Tuesday. We've got Europe in the last week, of course, to qualify for DreamHack Atlanta. It's a big day with two teams battling it out for first place and trying to decide who is going to take the crown. Of course, my name's Randy. That's Pretty Hair, and we will be casting with you today. And if you want to see us live and you want to see who makes it live, you can check out HRX in November 16th to 18th. Grab your tickets now at highresexpo.com. Make sure to grab your after party tickets as well. All that information is on your screen, and you can check it out.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. That's what these boys are playing for at this point. There's not a lot of time left. Like we mentioned on Esports Weekly, this is our last full week of content, including both console, PGS, and PPL.
Yeah.
So it's coming down to the wire here. Things are being decided. A lot of these console teams are being clinched. A lot of these PGS teams are going to be clinching this week, and so let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Game one, it's going to be a big one here as we take a look at the standings. You could see it, Cryptic and Underrated. Authority and Clown Fiesta. Things could shift here because Authority with a win and Underrated with a loss could put them in an interesting tie position as far as points. It would then go to head-to-head and maps, and that would be more of a tiebreaker situation. Underrated as well could push the tiebreaker situation with Team Cryptic. If they're able to get a win, I believe that would mean Underrated, who have given Team Cryptic their only loss in the season, would then win head-to-head, and most likely, unless maps were the first tiebreak, actually take first place here. Both teams would be qualified if the way the standings look maintained after today, but it would be a very interesting tell for who got first place. And there's some prizing, Nick. That is a differential. Definitely some money that you want. So it'll be an interesting game one.
Everybody wants to grab that W, of course. Everyone wants to make a little bit easier of a path for themselves because of the seeding, and that, especially for these international teams, is always a big factor, whether you have to go up against, the 3 seed from the PPL or maybe the 5 seed from the PPL.
Yeah. And we are hearing that it is map differential, so that will be the first one. So really the course of your season, how many maps have you won, the quality of your team, not just if you've got a better matchup against the team that you are competing against. So the totality, not the minutia, will be the key to determining who's the first. Let's take a look at the maps here for game number one as we head into the last week of the EU PGS. Jaguar Falls and beautiful Ice Mines ban. Thank you, Team Cryptic. Underrated banning Ascension Peak, which I always like to see.
None of that. Yeah, I do enjoy myself a little bit of Ascension Peak every now and again. Cryptic going to go ahead and get rid of the Fury at first things first. Con, I'm surprised to see as much con banning as we have. I feel like when he does get let through, he doesn't really win that much.
Yeah, he's not a incredibly winning champion. Although he's not the worst, he does not impress the way that you would see him in that ban. And it is a staple ban that a lot of players like to work around. And the Makoa getting opened up as a result, he's almost taken the spot of the Ancient Sea Turtle there. And Cryptic will grab that, no doubt about it. Drogos, though, in response with Underrated and what I would assume is an Inara.
These Barrack and these Ash bans, a little strange for me here on Jaguar Falls, wanting to maybe just keep some big stuff open rather than have the budget things to pick from on the front line. Cryptic answer back with a Cassian and Andro here fairly early in the draft. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and it really feels like there is, something at play. Cryptic, obviously, their map pick, their ban phase, starting off with that Barrack ban, the Furia ban. They know they've got to win this game. They cannot let Underrated do what they did prior and find a victory here.
Grab the Damba, and Furia is going to be banned out, so supports. It's a fairly large conversation to have about this draft in particular. Underrated have to go for something like a Saris or maybe a Ying at this point.
And I would assume that if Underrated also trying to climb back here, especially with map differential being the tiebreak, that they need a 2-0 if they want to have a chance at taking first. And not obviously push that map tie differential with Authority if Authority win versus Clown Fiesta later on. It's Ying at the end with Talus, Ruckus Makoa. Good front lines, good healers, and damage. Should be an interesting one as game one begins here on Jaguar Falls.
Underrated feel like they definitely have more DPS overall, though. It's about weathering that storm on the objective. Inara doesn't have the Furia online, but there is no Willow or anything like that either. No Leon, no innate anti-heal right out of the gate. That's going to be too difficult to deal with.
He's still there.
Is that an actual Dragonfire Lance?
I
Coming
doubt
through,
it.
boys?
I doubt it. But potentially Nino Sassler, there's the Scorch. Nice memes on the intro screen here. But Simsalou is back. So, you know, the tweet afterwards was that, thank you for subbing, Simsy. We appreciate it. But it seems like he's back for this week. So that sub looking a little bit more permanent. Will he be traveling to LAN or to at least the HRX qualifiers if they end up maintaining their second spot, maybe even pushing first? Simsy definitely wants the opportunity and shredding through Kamikaze already on the ruckus. Going to blitz upper and gets right back in time. Graffias not willing to broach the Jaguar statue.
Talus still not very effective from super long range like that. I thought that was going to be damn near a kill. Once later game records are online, it probably will be. First blood does come through. Nice little fireball there from Nino before he heads back to the objective, and Simsalou will finish the job. Nino comes back in for one more fireball, and it's all gravy on the left-hand side.
60% and counting now for Underrated as they move forward to zone against Team Cryptic, who are trying to find an answer. But it's been clean. It's been strong. It's Serini against Toot Toot, a matchup we've seen so often in that beautiful set. These two faced off against one another. Zarini ended up getting the better end. Toot Toot on the Makoa wants to change things today, but so far for Team Cryptic, it's going a different way.
Oh, they continue to roll here. Zarini finds a frag over on the right-hand side. As we've only got about 2 minutes left on the clock here, Nino Sassler goes down on the Fernando, and from what little I've casted of Europe, Nino wasn't always on this front line.
No, he's
what I saw.
Absolutely. Cassie and Androxus, these are the types of champions you'd see Nino Sassler on most of the time. But with Simsalou coming in, you can imagine that he's given up a little bit of that role, some of his leadership, his ability to be in the league for so long, allowing Simsalou, who just brings the raw talent, the raw damage, and the raw aim to do what he does best. Simsy again with another kill on it. Toot Toot and Hayes finds Kamikaze. Oh, this is looking like a full team wipe on the Team Cryptic.
Running a lot of move speed on this Talus. Simsalou running it without any Torvald, without any Khan, without any Genos, with just really kind of on its own here. Antediluvian, a little bit of damage reduction, a little bit of move speed, and it's all gravy here. Opening up now on these front lines, and didn't have his rune of travel down, so had nowhere to retreat off to.
And that's where, you know, the player sometimes is shown some of the weak spots, but when you look at it and how it very often isn't an issue, so some of the strength, you know, preemptively planning that rune of travel, knowing exactly when you need to get back. And you know what, this is actually working, but it's actually a little bit ineffective because all that time they spend killing Nino, they don't continue the zone, and they allow all 4 of the other members to take pretty good spots for a retake here.
Davos primed and ready. It's going to largely hit Makoa, find a little bit of poke damage here and there. Nothing to really worry about or right home to.
That was good.
Nice fire spit from distance. Simsalou is trying to get in the back line here. Might actually open a little bit of a window for Drogos to find some damage. Still sitting on the Dragon Punch here, but the first ultimates are being launched at this fight.
Hayes trying to find himself in that right spot for Rockets,
Wow.
and he has Hayes with a first kill on the Uber Spady, but it's going to be a second one with Simsalou on to Klosar. Hayes with another one, and I think Underrated just pushed this 2-0.
And that's with only 3 ultimates burned there. Nothing really responded with except for their biggest ultimate, the Ancient Rage burn for Cryptic, still sitting on the Dragon Punch. So now Hayes can, knowing that's down, just pop it onto really whoever he wants to at that point. He doesn't have to worry about playing around the Ancient Rage cooldown, worry about getting that full value for it. Kamikaze sitting on his ultimate, a Dread Serpent and a Cursed Arm. Definitely some tools to work with here, but Underrated, I think, can weather the storm.
So difficult for Cryptic in this matchup prior. And it doesn't look like it's gotten any easier. They didn't have Simsalou on the squad when that first victory from Underrated took place. So now, I wonder if the tables have completely turned. Simsalou only subbing last week, and now this is his second appearance for the team after having that notorious kind of just exit from Paladins after doing so well with NIP for the weeks that he was with them. Big fire spit from Hayes. 18% still on the objective.
There it is, Wizardry Rift popped as well. Just trying to keep everyone nice and healthy. First blood already falls. That's what we talked about in the first round. Once Wrecker starts to come online more and more for Simsalou, that matchup with Ruckus just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, and it looks like the way Uber Spady was moving there, he just really had no idea where to go. He was trapped between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a double kill from Simsy there. That's just everything he needs. 3-0, looking like it could happen. Zarini with the wall off. Kamikaze just runs away. Underrated. Under 6 minutes. Looking like they might just clean up Cryptic on Jack.
I mean, Simsalou's looking really good on this Talus so far. It's fun to see new characters kind of just start to come back in. expand the cast a little bit. It's been a pretty versatile cast overall. A lot of people coming through in the draft over the course of this competitive season. And with HRX right around the corner, you love to see even more class participation.
Good finish off by Graphies. He had the Androxus prioritized in the draft, and he wasn't really able to make much use out of it up until now, finding a few kills. Good headshots onto Zarini. That makes a difference. Androxus looking to get up into the air and just expose mostly the head to that revolver, because it will, with Ezreal, make such a big difference. But right now, though, things could get messy. There it is, the true power, and he goes with the accursed arm to respond back. Simzy takes a double anyway, says, I don't care about any curses here. I've got enough teenage angst to...
That was cool.
Be okay.
Well, that was pretty cool there. And now Kamika's in a rough spot. Treacherous ground in Nara as well.
Look at the stall.
So this Ruckus is just locked down, nowhere to go with all that mobility and no way to use it. 116 on the objective now, but Cryptic look like they may have only about 15 more seconds.
Man, this is demoralizing, I think, if you are Cryptic. They had a question mark as to what was going to happen in this game. They banned the Barrack. The Ashe was banned in response. Underrated say, get that out of here. 4-0 in under 7 minutes.
Man, treacherous ground and Nara too, locking down that Ruckus. I gotta say, I like it. You know, when you're not playing that more passive style, just sitting on the objective with like a Fury or something healing you, that seems like a really good option that a lot of people aren't looking at.
Kept him in place for the Talus too. You got to say that was really helpful. And Simsalou, we've seen it last time he played, and now we've seen it again. Talus on Jag Falls looking really good. Now, heading into game 2, of course, we have to decide, you know, as an audience, and, you know, for me, I'm not sure if I believe that this is going to get turned around by Cryptic. Underrated looked miles ahead as far as their composure, their execution, their drafting, just hitting their shots.
You used Demoralize, and that's a really good way to put it. It's tough to bounce back. This is their map pick. This is the time to do it, but that is a just brutal beatdown in game number 1. And that's part of the strength, I think, of having the first map pick in a series like this. This is only a best of 3. You don't have a lot of time to sort of talk about what's going wrong and whether that storm. It can be over before you can even get up from that first left hook thrown by Underrated.
Ashe taken here, and this is a very contested pick on Stone Keep in Europe. Obviously, the ability to control any long distance or long archway where people are fighting allows Ashe to use her shield well. It allows Ashe to use her damage very well. And she has a good stall-out objective. The Willow as well, super dangerous. And Cryptic now taking the exact 2 champions that they banned last game. Let's see if that changes the case.
Cryptic will answer with the Talus this time. I'm trying to show Simsalou that can be done on either side of the coin here. Fernando scooped as well. Ashe, and you're right, Barrack banned that last game. Little interesting to see, especially the Barrack. He's very, very rarely banned to the point where he just looks weird down there.
He does.
He fills up the whole picture with his big dumb beard. And Ashe as well definitely feels like maybe that's something that's highly contested in this fight. It goes first pick, and we'll have to see if it's worth it.
I think this is a really, really nice lineup by Underrated. They could push, and they can keep on pushing. But the Talus and Leon going to give some pushback. And the Furia for sure. I like the Fernando, not just the Barrack, because that'll give her a lot of targets for that Solar Blessing. It is going to be interesting, but the AoE control really goes the way of the Willow and the Ashe here, and the Ruckus with the rocket launchers.
Yeah, it's going to be a big fight for the keep for sure. I think if Cryptic can hold control of it, they will certainly win the point with their Solar Blessing and their Barrack all set up. But if they see control of the high ground, the only really relevant spot that you want to fight for, and that most people do fight for right there, if that goes to Willow, I think this game goes to Willow.
Yeah. It's win condition for Underrated, and they need it, because this means it would be a 2-0, and that would put them in a great position. We'll see if we have those numbers of the map differential behind the scenes, or if someone from production can tell us what would happen if this 2-0 went and then they were tied for first, who would get the first spot there. And I'm curious here as well to see Hayes shifting away from the Blaster, giving that role up to Simsalou, going on to the Cassie. It's not unfamiliar territory, but it is just a respect, I think. You know, knowing Simsy is one of the best blasters out there.
That's a 3-man blast shot there. Almost gets the full cooldown reset as well. And Huh. No one's here really spearheading the charge for Simslow. They head straight to the objective and instead just focus on this barrack before he can get comfortable, and it pays off.
Nice. I mean, I would have been caught off guard if I was Cryptic. I would not have expected that. I would have probably expected Ash on the left side helping to shepherd this Willow up on the front, but they can take a completely different approach, and I love that. It's like, you go here, I'm going to go there.
I wonder if that's an on-the-fly call, because you see Hayes, he sees 4 people come through that little nook, dismounts 3 of them, and then at that point, potentially an audible for Underrated to make, but launching down from the high ground here, Grafis finds 1 onto the objective. Ash a very easy target, and Nino Saslo will fall as well, despite 93 on the objective. The tables have turned back in favor of Cryptic.
And that's the benefit, right? That 6-man is in play. You know, you've got 4 who can only zone instead of 5. And you've obviously got the ability, if you pull back, to attack as 5 and hopefully put somebody in a bad position. I mean, Furia can't stand there for long, and they know they're going to be able to get him off with 1 seedling, 1 dead zone. It's going to be bye-bye. Give us a little bit of room to play around. Trying to get the keep here, Nino. Firing away. He's got the rocket launchers, flutters up into the air. Sprite Fly might be in the loadout. Gives him a little bit of damage reduction. Simsaloo still alive and well, though, but overtime is ticking.
There it is. It start to burn down now, but the end flame has popped. A very, very quickly charging ultimate for Furia. First frag goes to Simsaloo. Second frag almost will as well. Double kill for Simsy.
Yeah.
But it's being answered right back. Look at the kill feed right now. Everyone is dead. Second, the last man standing. And an absolute bloodbath on the objective. The Maldamba comes out on top.
He gives him the snake. Clip it.
That was nuts.
Beautiful. I mean, that's a Leon versus a Damba. And you know you're not supposed to 1v1 a Damba. That's just Paladins right
Gord
there.
HPS, dude. Oh.
Beautiful stuff from Second. He has a lot to do, but he does it with ease. Makes it look simple. Beautiful, beautiful play. And now Team Cryptic, not a moment of respite on defense. Every single round they have defended. They have not captured an objective at all. And it's looking even worse now with Zarini in a good spot.
Beautiful dead zone there to prevent the Solar Blessing healing coming through onto Toot. But gets a nice juicy one from Furia. Anyway, even with the shield coming through, it's really, really doing a good job topping people off. And Zarini just battling back and forth, trying to keep the shield up and available. He doesn't get committed on. That could be a mistake here as 2 kills come through on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, that's weird, man. I don't know. I got to ask, though. I think Zarini might be going down here, but if he doesn't,
he's lost.
Wow, this is crazy. Zarini just playing these little moments. And yeah, maybe some mistakes from Team Cryptic, but the way Zarini is just battling through is phenomenal. Now, this is a tough one. You know, Sassel is underneath. They can't look at him because they've got to look at the objective. I think this is smart. Just get your health. You got 5,300 in the pocket there. Nice presence. Good slide by Spady. Nino with the Hexafire, trying to finish it off. The double kill, though, from the Leon. And I think that's enough to at least hold off for now. I don't think Zarini will commit with only 2 members alive beside himself.
It is Uber Spady trying to commit on the Simslow here. A very healthy target indeed. I want to look at this Ashes loadout. I feel like she's got a ton of CDR. She cranked out so many shields during that. That was insane.
It's not CDR. It's this card, right, where when you have Siege Engine, I was going to bring that up, you reduce the cooldown when you hit someone with your kinetic burst. And she's already got Ramparts 5 as well. So this is a really interesting style of Ashe that we've never seen, really, Nick, in a high level, but it's working so well.
Lots and lots of those Fortress Breakers here. And out of the gate, there's only the Wrecker 1's on the line. Dies mid-flight, though, and the ultimate can't get it all the way off. 7 seconds here left in the round, and it looks like it will just come to a quiet close.
And that is better. Not where they want to be, but much, much better. And, you look at that barrack against that towering figure of the Ashe, and you just kind of feel bad for the man. It's really not an easy matchup, especially when she has, like, 8 shields per round.
Jeez.
That was clean.
What a brawl this was. Look at that, man. The kill feed, it refreshes quickly. People start to expire and fade away just a couple of seconds after it happens. But that was like a full 8-9 kills in there. Very rare that you actually get to see that. And of course, Second comes out on top of it all, looking like the grand champion.
Yeah, it was really not without 3 down from Simsy, and Really, really beautiful, momentary, just kind of initiation with that Fey Flight. Didn't quite get up into the air like he wanted, but found 3 kills along the way. Beautiful seedling. That's going to get a lot of value. Forces Closar all the way back. And again, Simsy by himself here, just trying to navigate the pressure from the Fernando, and he will. But that gives room onto the objective.
Kind of the same style of fight we saw in the first round here. And Zarini again, failure to launch. Can't get this ultimate off. A predictable trajectory here, making him an easier target. Ruckus deep in the backline. He's committed here. I think it's either pedal to the metal. You're not really getting out of this one, Nino. Grafis will claim the killing blow, but underrated. Still, with that said, grab the 50% on the objective. Not quite as much as they had in round number 1, but still a lead.
And one of the things they're good at, underrated, and what I've really liked is their cohesion as a unit. They work together and they do back off when need be, and allow 57, 60, 80% on the objective before they attack as 5. You just have to win the point fight once right now. And there is the Ashe ultimate. Probably not what they want to be. Inflame in response from the Furia, but Toot Toot, it's not giving him any extra health or defense. He's still going down. They've got to find an answer because this Ashe is still looking pretty healthy. There's the Dome Shield trying to shoulder bash him out, but the Flame Turret, oh, that is a problem. Toot Toot gets the trade, and now it's really up to Hayes and Nino to really try to finish it off.
Oh, below you, Hayes. Team Cryptic capture the objective away. Simsaloo finds 2, but it's too little too late. And again, you kind of see that high ground goes to Cryptic pretty much the entire time. They're the ones fighting for the keep, but it's working out fairly well for them. You're watching Underrated get that, 50 to 60 to 70% lead out of the gate, but then they just can't get control of the map once they lose it.
And it's a better, I think, execution of the strategy there. I think the reason this didn't go well is because Zarini wanted that ultimate at the beginning to force them off. He didn't want to ult in the Inflame with 5 people. He wanted to keep the pressure, be able to fully drop back as 4, regroup as 5, and then to attack. But he just couldn't get it off. There was 2 times he got killed there, and I think it's more of just an execution strategy. Whether it's the right or wrong idea, they just didn't pull off what they were trying to. And credit to Team Cryptic for responding, going back at it, and then finding the answer here as Graffies looks to take the high ground, force Nino down.
Have to see how Underrated respond now. Finally, the first time in this set, they are in control of the offense here. And Underrated for the first time have to switch gears, get on the defense. Team Cryptic have a decent composition to, I think, find this pick. You're looking at Fernando here, bulldozing his way through the high ground, getting solar blessings, all that types of good stuff, as well as Leon available to soften up targets from a nice distance.
Hayes on a 4 streak, firing away, dodge rolling back as well. It might have been the somersault in the loadout. And that is looking really good for Team Cryptic. This is getting dangerous for Underrated. They're having to decide whether they want to use their ultimates or not. Remember, point 1 was decided by a reload from Maldamba. And that is a very fine line to walk. Graffies here on the high ground takes down Simsy. He almost splits uppers off the map, but Zarini back in control. Closar is available here to be poked at, and it's really up to Uberspade. He misses so many shots on the second as that bought him enough time on the point with Zarini.
There it is, Zarini the last to stand here. Ruckus needs to get down, but he gets stunned by the Fire Strike. Just barely makes it down in time, and they are just trickling in one after the other, but health bars falling lower and lower. Eventually, it will find its way home.
And it feels like Uberspade was really the Uber. He picked them all up, dropped them off at their location. 9 streak for him. He was a huge part of both team fights and the push now. And this is a nice little play from Simsy, but he couldn't put it together towards the end. And this was actually just
that voice sounds really scary in slow-mo.
A little later. Hey, Viceroy Willow. Really the premier Willow skin.
15 seconds.
9-4 for Graffies, 11-6 for Uberspade. So look at that. What a round from him.
Tight race for top damage here. 66,000 at the top, and Leon only behind by about 9,000 or so. First 4 very, very contested. Nobody really pulling away here, but Simsaloo hasn't really been given the high ground, given the best spot for Willow. And Underrated look like they are going to change their strategy here. Look to get him up top.
And you feel like, why haven't you done it?
Over.
Feels like, why haven't you done it? Then you get high ground for the Willow. And maybe it's a little surprising because now where do you go? I mean, this is easy.
They bulldozed them there. Holy crap!
And Inflame was used. I mean, this is the simplest thing I've seen happen. And you wonder why they didn't do it earlier.
Maybe there's a reason everyone fights for the keep on Stone Keep.
Yeah.
It's in the name, folks.
It is in the name.
Comeback mechanic should make this fairly quick. I mean, Ash is out here zoning. You've got Ruckus as well.
Should be over.
Fernando's getting there. He's coming around the river bend. We'll have to see if he's ready to paint with all the colors of the wind.
And I don't know if we're going to see any magical stories here. Autumn leaves blowing. It looks like there's just a lot of fire and flames. And I like this decision. Get Uber Spady out. Oh, doesn't commit. Goes back to the point.
Yeah. Died a little quicker than I think he was comfortable with, but health bar still low on the high ground. Simsalo still in his spot, dropping triple kills here at the tail end of the Fayfly. Uber Spady comes a little bit too late there. That's a one-star Uber ride.
Yeah, that's a one-star right there. But you know what? It was his best effort, because at the end of the day, it was a good play by Zarini. And he recognizes that all he needed to do is just force this Leon out of the fight. Now she's backed off enough to where I will die if I continue, so I'm just going to go back to the point, stay alive, contest, finish off the barrack. I believe that was 2 in flames in that fight, and still couldn't get it done there. So Underrated with the comeback mechanic, now tied in terms of objective captures, I believe, although they have not pushed theirs.
158 on the clock as Nino falls, the first real kill of this defense, and plenty to stabilize it, I think, at that point. Stone Keep gets most dangerous when you're just in a constant state of backpedaling into your spawn. Now Cryptic have a chance to get set up, maybe get another return kill or two. Underrated don't have their second front line to try and bulldoze the high ground. But wow, that looked like such an easy strat at the start of the round. I can't imagine Underrated will try anything else.
And it could be, though, that they were caught off guard a bit, because Underrated had done the same thing for 2 rounds in a row. So maybe it was a little bit, oh, they're all here, they're all here. Wait, back up, back up. We don't know what this is gonna look like. But yeah, it's surprising. Knocks the Fernando off.
Saddest
and you know what? That's actually pretty valuable, because he gets him on the below ground, and that's just a full wipe. I mean, that was a fantastic showcase of high ground control.
The smallest knockback that ever made a difference in a game of Paladins right there. And then Simpsy drops a beautiful dead zone right on top of the Solar Blessing. Neither of those front lines, they're just grasping at straws at that point, getting no healing whatsoever. And it's all gravy from that point on. We'll get to see as it's tied up here.
No
way.
Wow. Seconds playing
Seconds
out of
just
his
got
mind.
Uber's number this game, I guess.
He certainly does.
What a beast.
And 21 eliminations, 4 killing blows. Really strong job from him. Comparing that to the 5 and 12 from Klosar, just 25 elims, nearly at the top of his class. And it's all up to this. This game could do it. Underrated. Can 2-0 Team Cryptic here on this point fighter. Cryptic could force a game 3 in this best-of-3 series. Do they go keep?
Oh my goodness, look at the ultimate economy. Cryptic is starving right now. All they've got is Inflame here. This could be another situation where they just absolutely roll over here. Underrated with the lead in a lot of different ways. Beautiful bait of the Dread Serpent.
Yes, I like that. Very good call. Now they don't have that big game-changing ultimate from the Moldava, but 2-2 is dead. And now, of course, Simsy takes the high ground, goes to the low ground, and then takes a kill. Second as well, getting the killing blow. I think that might have been with the gourd. And Graphies falls. I think Team Cryptic might be falling here unless they can get past the zone.
And Barrack already dismounted. That's heartbreaking. It's going to be a long road in. Look at Fernando, though. He's still on his horse. Still hanging out. Hayes has his number, though. He is watching this little cathedral like a hawk. Fernando's going to make it there. Pops is immortal and is just laying it all on the gridiron.
And look at this. Seedling going to come through. You got to stand on the point. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, now with a Willow on Stone Keep. This looks like it's underrated. No longer underrated. We said it before. We'll say it again. Another victory, and this time 2-0 against Team Cryptic.
Really, really solid stuff there. Simsalo looked great. Second looked great. Nino looked great. All the guys from Cryptic, you know, struggling to find a way to win there. Once map control went to underrated, I mean, the game just flowed for them.
Now, you know, this is a team that I'd like to see it land. This is a team that I'd like to see how will they perform, because there's some matchups that they might actually do pretty well in when you talk about maybe their first qualifiers, etc. I don't know if we have the numbers yet. I would love to get that information. They both qualify for land, so we will be aware of that. But Cryptic is still in first place, I believe. So that will mean they get an extra bit of money here in the PGS. However, that is a big deal. And both of them, Cryptic and Underrated, will be going to land. We'll see them in November.
Yeah, a little bit of a tougher road here for Underrated, but later off the block, I guess that's what it is. Cryptic started stronger.
Definitely. And through the totality of it, you know, it is interesting to see a team have that 2-0 win against the team that then is in first ahead of them. So a clear head-to-head victory, but Underrated happy to be going, I'm very, very sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we got one more set, though, coming up. It's Authority and Clown Fiesta. Now, this isn't very interesting for the HRX qualifiers, I would assume, but it is interesting to see if they can at least grab that W and if Authority can continue their rise. If Clown Fiesta will maybe have a resurgence, also losing Alex and a lot of those players in Mouse Sports and things like that. Can they find a little bit of redemption towards the end of the season?
We'll head to the map screen and get this one right underway for you guys. See where this one will unfold. Be another best of 3, like Evan mentioned. These guys are not going to the HRX qualifiers, though, as the first 2 spots have just been clinched.
Yeah, so congratulations to them. And now Jaguar Falls will be map 1. Let's see what they've got for us. It's going to be an Androxus ban, which makes a lot of sense as far as the impact. I think a lot of people, Nick, have been really committing to Abyssal Touch, especially in North America, and trying to perfect that playstyle. When you get it right, oh man.
It's hard, man.
It's just, you can't, he's just always moving, and that's always been a gift of Androxus.
I'm really excited for that talent to get a UI indicator. To just, it makes it, I think, a lot easier for you to be able to make decisions on the fly, knowing how much damage you're going to be bringing.
Defiant Fist.
Defiant Fist, sorry.
Yeah.
To bring that talent in and know exactly what type of burst damage you can offer up. You can get those stacks, you know, it doesn't matter if you're max fall off damage or right in someone's face, you get it all the same.
Yeah, it's going to be really intriguing if people start to bring that one out. Cassie, Fernando, and Nara here for Authority, Clown Fiesta. They're going to grab the Drogos, the Leon, and the Furia. The Barrack to pair it all with. So maybe a little bit of a lean towards the front lines here for Authority's presence. But Clown Fiesta still have a last pick here.
It will grab that Talus as well in need of a front line unless they want a hard commit to a 3rd DPS, and then we'll scoop Ash when it's all said and done here. A lot of shred, but I think Ash is, you know, well equipped to kind of dance around the shield and bruise up with Talus.
Yeah, definitely. I think this will be an interesting one. Not the easiest champion to shred. And Barrack either. I mean, they really don't offer you a lot of clean moments to shoot only them because they're rocket booting around, their shields are coming up and down, and they are creating a good bit of distance away from you.
But they don't slow down when they fire, like, you know, Fernando's do and the Ruckuses do. Talus succeeds against those matchups where it's just too easy to track.
Right. Ace Dex, J-Bay, Danfist, Loomsy, and Stocks on your side of Authority. Clown Fiesta trying to make it happen here. Accentra hopes. Slice, Erase, I'm sorry, we're going to call him Sly. And Emperor of Kato.
Is he just tapping the trigger there? That's like that is not what Talus sounds like in my head.
Really?
When I think of holding down the
I got to listen to him.
Trigger. It's throwing me off really hard.
Was not paying attention to that audible noise. Seems like we might have a little
something, something.
Still something. And now we got a little none.
The items are purchased. The mounts are saddled.
The dragon farts are flowing.
Boy, are they ever.
Boy, are they ever. Yeah, the flatulent dragon.
Oh man, I like the I like the idea there with the Fernando Talus combination, but just not looking like they're super coordinated on that attack. Fernando plus almost any flank, any damage champion. It's one of the most effective little duos. Love to see it here, but it never looked super clean. They never looked like they were on the same page of, all right, it's time to go now. All right, I'm going to move forward. And then Fernando backs up, and then Talus backs up, and then Fernando moves forward. And I think in that chaos, Clown Fiesta found a little avenue of success.
Yeah, Authority right now still a little bit in control. Clown Fiesta trying to find, I think, just a brief bit of, I think, lack of pressure. And Stocks is not willing to give in to that. He's going to push them back with the left side flank. And now they're hoping for, I think, just this Barrack to be a little bit more impressive on the objective, but Portersfield is going to stop him from even getting there.
That's sad.
Yikes.
And he pops both his rocket boosts. Doesn't really help him out, though. He is still going to fall.
Bummer.
When it's all said and done, Dragon Punch is ready to rock and roll here. And somehow Moonwalk thrusts out from under that wall, trying to squeak this salvo through, but probably would have ended up taking more self-damage than anything else there.
Yeah, a little close for comfort, but I guess so is that. Nice shot. And there's Danfist. Immortal or you're dead. And I guess he trades his life for the life of the Drogos, but they will have to back off to try and keep JB alive. Good wall, just blocking line of sight, blocking cauterized application, giving him a little bit of moment to receive healing and not take damage. Stocks is back, often using the Talus as kind of just this front runner to really go into the fight, create some space. Very much like a front line would do.
Oh, takes him out mid-flight as well. Beautiful pressure coming out from both Talus and Fernando. Nice catch of the fire spit with the shield.
Yeah.
Authority, despite being kind of held back for a second there, they are on the offense here. Furia stunned out and just murdered 2 kills in a row for Stocks. Pops a beautiful little overcharge there. Rune travels back to home with a spray in hand.
Now, that's a pretty good combo. Maybe feels like it's a little overkill, but I like it. You guarantee that the support dies with the seismic crash and, of course, the true power with Talus. However, I was thinking, you know, it'd be great if you could have a Maldamba player who practices just stunning them the second they drop from that blitz upper. That would be really efficient as far as getting the job done.
47 seconds left on the clock to get the job done here. Authority starting to spend a couple of ultimates, but it got them just a little bit of payload push here. Not a ton. They didn't really carry that momentum very well into the enemy base. Talus duking out, trying to stay above half HP, but struggling as well. Fire spits are landing, and that's probably what's helping stem most of this pressure.
Second Hopes goes down. That's going to be a big issue. Mining Spirits and Swift Spirits combining to keep Loomsy alive. The burst and the healing over time. J-Bay now just has found his angle, but he needs to stay close to Ace Dex, and he doesn't. So that is a little dangerous. They've got 2 ultimates on the front lines, the Assert Dominance and the Dome Shield from the Barrack. Emperor of Kato just hiding next to those turrets. They're healing him up, but they're not going to go for it, and that could be a big, big mistake. Now they don't have any chances to use their ultimates. They might just let this go 2-0, and that's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, unless a miracle occurs.
No response. The dust settles quietly here. Authority up 2-0 in this set. Here's that combination coming out. Honestly, both just kind of winded up at the same time there. That's a stunned out Furia. The Immortal comes through as well. More for Fernando than anything else there, as he was kind of the first target. A lot of movement speed running here and a lot of anti-heal.
Oh, this is the card I was talking about. Ancient Power. Hitting an enemy while Overcharge is active reduces the cooldown of Blitz Upper by 0.5 seconds, and it's basically got like a...
It's got like a 1 second
ICD. So you're essentially... You can, like, you know, at a high level of this, just get like 2 Blitz Uppers in a fight. And you get a 3rd when you enter Strength, so you can get like 3 essentially in a combo if you run it with this.
Throwing hands.
Throwing hands, man.
A lot of nuance to talents. I mean, when he came out, he was one of the champions who's just like, I don't really, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I want to do with this.
Totally.
A lot of options.
Let's watch it here. Let's see where the cooldown goes. Oh, he's not really hitting a lot. That was a hard time, but I'm going to keep track of that cooldown on the Blitz Upper when that is used, and then he goes into the overcharge again. Sheesh. No chances, though. Hopes just finds so many kills, and Sly helping out. Double kill for the Furia, and so now Clown Fiesta in good control.
A lot of ultimates available there. A lot of ultimates spent for Clown Fiesta, and Lightman just got baited out. But a nice use of Assert Dominance is very difficult to push through when you don't have a lot of reliable means of knockback and CC. And as Ash is most of the reliable CC and knockback in Paladins, it's hard to get it done.
That's a really good wall as well. And Dampus with the Immortal at the perfect time. Can Ace Dex do it? He's got to get a heal. Big job for him on the Maldamba. J-Bay getting knocked back. Dampus now. Can they siphon off Emperor of Kato? They can, but they've got to touch the objective. Sox is here, and he's making sure the zone continues, as well as Loomsy just rolling out, but he rolls and dashes into a fire spit. But it's still Authority who found control back.
Look at the front line playing beautiful angles here. Do they just burn down 1, burning down 2? My goodness, Danfy is on a rampage in the back line right now. He might get 3, and he will, and he'll get away with it.
This is rough, Nick. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of missed opportunities here. I mean, you talk about not using the Assert Dominance and not using the Dome Shield, right? And Hopes, you can't do it all. But then you have the Inflame available, and you have the Dome Shield available while you're zoning with 70% on the objective, and you don't use any of them. I mean, I love the idea of using an Inflame there, get some more damage, movement speed, and just, it's too much. That Inara would be dead.
Well, they have their ultimates now, Evan. Now this defense, let me tell you how easy it's. No, I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you see how often Inflames can pop off. It's one that you want to see used very liberally. It's not one that's difficult to execute. And it's one that can be used, you know, preventatively. I think there's a lot of, you know, psychology that comes through when you just hear certain ultimate cues. You don't really feel like fighting into it.
Yeah, you just kind of back off, right? I think that would have been a pretty easy way to make sure you got it. Erase, it's a really nice shot, but questions all around. That Inflame still not popped, and they are 85% of the way pushed and close to ending this game. So if there is a time to pop the Inflame, it might be now, but they're gonna wait. They're gonna buy some time. This is very Elven Path-like.
One of the biggest strengths about Inflame is just how long it lasts, and because it lasts so long, what you can do is pop it a little bit preemptively. You know, you use those first 2 seconds, right? So everyone could just gather around, get the buff, and then spread out to where they need to go. They're moving faster anyway. And there it is, and there's the team fight.
Yeah, there it is. But I mean, it did not feel like they needed it right there. But again, you know, obviously that's the biggest thing for me. I think you could tell a lot about team communication and, you know, the page everyone's on based on ultimates and how effectively they're used. I mean, clearly Authority, they're on the same page. That Seismic Crash, True Power combo was very, very nice. This time, though, she's not going to do it, and she's going to get taken down by Hopes. I think that was a good Dragon Punch, but Bloomsy puts it back in the dirt.
Just trading it out instantly there. Nice way to counterplay the Dragon Punch, but 1-for-1 trades, 2-for-1 trades. They're just going to be in favor of the defense. Nothing Authority can do but back off. They're burning ultimates kind of just like a little bit here, a little bit there. No real decisive pushes being made. Now there's only 10 seconds left on the clock. They have 2 ultimates available, admittedly very, very big ones for the next round if they end up holding everything. And it looks like, given the way things are going right now for Stocks, it might end up that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting pocketed by the Fury. Astex isn't really even looking at Stocks because he's trying to keep Danfus and, of course, J-Bay alive. Talus gets caught in a bad spot. Really, Erase was a huge, really component of why this defense looks like it's going to be holding. You got to give credit to Sly as well. Makes the right decisions. They look like, hey, could have maybe min-maxed this a little bit more, but they get the job done, and that's important. Authority now 3-1, and Clown Fiesta earned their first point.
Get a decent amount of ultimate charge there down the stretch as well. The Immortal going to be important to countering the next Dragon Punch, which was a nice little thing that they were able to bait out Authority, that is. Now we'll head into this one 3-1. Could come to an end here. 70% on Immortal. Scout might be a little bit inconsequential at this point. No True Power this time. No combo to set up for J-Bay, or off the back of J-Bay's Seismic Crash.
Definitely the hot loadout for sure.
Look at all the fire.
You just want that fireball. That's a Scorch Fernando for you. That's what I like to see. That way you can get some triple kills and be the real front line your team needs. Clown Fiesta here. Didn't realize that Fernando had been riding horses since he was but a child as the self-appointed knight. Thus was a little faster off the mark than everybody else. Dome Shield as well for the Barrack, just trying to hold it, and there's the Inflame. It's right back. And oh, one big combustible here could be huge, and Danfus goes down as a result of that, and Emperor of Kato following it up. It is a full wipe, and now Clown Fiesta have to zone.
The scariest part about that is it was off the back of just Enflame and Dome Shield. That Dome Shield was so critical in a choke point. Barrack kind of came up out of nowhere, and Authority were just forced back all under the Dome Shield, taking a bunch of damage while they did it. And now they still have to fight into both Assert Dominance, Enlightenment, and Dragon Punch.
Ooh, but this is going to give Lumsy a chance. That was a beautiful Seismic Crash. Oh my god, Danfus with a fireball and an incredible retake by Authority. Talk about using your ultimates and synergy playing together. That was a symphony. That was a concerto. That was a movement of how Paladins can be played.
Lovely, lovely CC chaining there. So many people got hit by everything.
Dread Serpent.
And then squished into the corner as well. Both targets stacking up for the Fernando Fireball, even allowing the frontliners to be useful there. Dipping into the blessing one way or another.
That was dope.
Fire Spit's going to continue to rip through here, but Cassie right in the face of Drogos. 3-for-1 in favor of Authority. They look to end this game.
But still come back mechanic, Nick. That could mean the difference. Emperor of Kato finds 2. Excentra finds another. It's the Ease doing it together, but J-Bay, he is the Inara, the Stagala. Still no power. The True Power here used a little bit late And that's going to just be insult to injury there as Clown Fiesta, despite Authority's brilliant retake, still grab the objective.
Hanging on here just by the skin of their teeth. All ultimates used in that engagement. Take back after take back after take back to put us where we are now, 3-2 on the scoreboard. So a conversion here would simply mean a tie, and this is always a really tough situation to handle, especially for an inexperienced team. They have to decide whether or not to pop ultimates, and then putting themselves in a potentially dangerous situation in a 3-3 with no ultimates if they spent everything just to get the game tied.
Now this is, wow, very, very nice knockback. He's only got percussion 1, so ladies and gentlemen, if he had anything higher, he would have been off the map. And that's why I love my kinetic burst cards, but we're seeing a lot of value here in Siege Engine and Ramparts. And Indomitable really just opting for less health. We usually see Ashes around 43, 40, 53, 5400, but really not going for heavy metal, going for just that crowd control reduction and slow reduction.
Yeah, against Seismic Crash and Dread Serpent, it's a very, very valuable buy. The Gourd DPS, too much for even the War Machine.
Even the War Machine cannot stand the poison of Maldamba's snake and the healing remedy that it is for allies. That dual nature, very much like the snake, cunning, simple, sly, and deadly. 50 seconds left for Clown Fiesta. Really nice wall from J-Bay, though. It's going to force everyone towards the left flank, but do they have enough pressure with the Inflame coming through? This is just so much damage.
He is ripping through the movement speed as well. Hopes basically barrel stuffing his own fire spits. The windup and the pitch. It'll be good onto Inara. Another fire spit from distance. Has to cut that one off a little bit early because I think he's afraid for his own life.
And he hits the shield, but unfortunately for that shield, it really didn't do much to change the result. And for Hopes, he's still alive, still well. This is what I like to see Drogos is doing. You know, your damage is so impactful. You don't need to hit your Dragon Punch. You don't need to hit that Fire Spit. Just wait a few seconds. You'll get another one, and you'll still be very, very deadly.
So a big commitment there from Clown Fiesta. They do succeed, and they succeed even harder because they got Authority to spend ultimates as well. I think if Authority had just kind of rolled over a little bit there,
right,
let them burn themselves out, spend everything they had, then Authority could have been in that high ultimate economy situation here, but they are not. They are sitting on just a Seismic Crash.
A little bit of a almost counting your chickens before they hatch from Emperor of Kato there. Actually goes into the Kalinka dance as overtime's ticking away, but the true power almost got him there to contest, and he was dead. He died immediately, so interesting things. I've actually, I mean, the game I played last night, I mean, literally, the people were emoting on the point at 99, and we ended up actually triple killing them and winning the whole game. So it's one of those things you do not want to be the butt of a joke on. That is for sure.
Wall goes up, forces the Dome Shield actually, just so a young Emperor can stay alive. Is he being pressured out at the moment? Working his way back to his healer just to get top back up. This could be a big fireball, potentially the Seismic Crash, man. If that Fire Spit didn't connect, Danfus is there to fireball all of that action, and this is a very different team fight, but he's not, so he didn't. Now we're here.
And so many shields, man. I mean, I think Fernando is struggling getting through how many shields Accenture has. It's nearly always up. And you talk about Fortress Breaker, and it was kind of like the one that they used when Slugshot wasn't as relevant, when, you know, Battering Ram wasn't as relevant. But look at this, by 30,000, beating everybody, and she's going to have that.
Oh,
See
yeah.
you later. Percussion 1, by the way. Holy moly. Wow, Fiesta. Accenture with the double kill. He's going for the shoulder bash. He wants the trip. He might just get it. Stocks might be hand feeding it to him.
Sheesh.
Oh, man, this is some Ash play that we've been wanting to see.
That'll do. That'll do, Pig. Certainly, certainly. 4 for nothing there down the stretch. The cheeky knockoff on Fernando. Don't even really need to talk about ultimates at that point. Accenture got it all done himself.
Beautiful stuff. So Clown Fiesta, they take game 1. This could be the start of redemption. And I'm really, really interested to find out how it ends or if it continues in game 2. I don't know what the maps are, so we'll have to take a look at the screen when it comes up to you for your viewing pleasure, but so far so good, I think, for Clown Fiesta, the bottom-seeded team here in EU.
Yeah, they're looking really strong there in game number 1, playing well around slightly unconventional picks. Ash is definitely working her way more into the mainstream week over week. Splitstone Quarry will be the selection as we head into the draft here. Bit of a different type of map here in terms of what you need to be able to draft. I think Willow might be a little bit more of a conversation this time around.
Clown Fiesta.
What happened to snipers on this map, man? People don't really do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like unless it's the god pool or the champion pool that the player is bringing to the table, then it's not something that is just that easy pick that everyone's like, well, let me flex onto this because it's just really good. I see Rock. I see Bugsy. I see, you know, Saib back in the day. You see the Invocals, but I'm not sure if I really see it all the other while. Furia here taken for Authority, though. And here's the Kinessa. Speak of the devil. So a sniper will come through, and I guess Clown Fiesta, it's your move now.
Now they're in an awkward spot here to try and pick a Willow or something like that. Willow can do a decent job staying out of line of sight, but that's really the whole game that you have to play at that point. They go to the Eevee instead, up 1-0. Clown Fiesta pulling out all the tricks.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. I don't mind this Eevee selection. The Kinessa are really the only thing keeping it down right now, and you can actually play quite a bit around it on this map. There's a lot of cubbies you can fight out of so that Kinessa doesn't have good line of sight, and it just gives you an option to be aggressive. Cassie taken here, but the Leon would have been a nice pick, I think, for Clown Fiesta.
A lot of long-range ladies in that back line for Authority.
My.
They'll go scope for scope here. Eevee, she's got a big task ahead of her. That's a tough backline to dive. Just if everyone turns and carbine, you know, you get hit with the heirloom rifle as well as the gun blade all at once, you're going to be melting very, very quickly.
I mean, you know, no Drogo's taken, no Willow taken. Obviously, you're looking at the sniper, but
a lot of hit scan.
A lot of hit scan, you know, and I think the conversation piece here is the front line is going to be tested, both with the Inara, but also with this Ashe and Barrack. 2 front lines versus 1, even though that 1 reigns supreme. Will Clown Fiesta be able to close out game number 2 here and finish the set, or will this be a tie heading into game 3?
Hopes here on the Eevee, unauthorized use. Everything else looking pretty much standard here. You got your Fortress Breaker, Death and Taxes, Eagle Eyes, Tinkerins. My eyes are definitely on Hopes here. I think he's got the biggest spotlight on him to perform, so to speak. And if he doesn't, then everyone else in the enemy team starts to, and that's where things start to get a little hairy. And Xentra, big switch for him off the Ashe onto Strix.
Yep. And on that Cassie, oh, is this a
spotted idiot?
Definitely knows where he's at now, and this is a dangerous realm. This is what he's got to do, though. Try to find himself a couple of hits. Hopes off the Drogos onto the Eevee, and that's what he wants right there, just to poke away. So far, 36% on the objective for Clown Fiesta. Authority have taken the right side, but it hasn't really happened. 4 people have not been able to push this one Winter Witch.
Wow. And Leon will find the first blood. Onto Inara there. Now Barrack takes up his turn to get on the objective. Lumsy drops to the low ground here to try and get involved. Waiting for any backline rotations. Not a lot of line of sights to work with. I would retake the high ground at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think he realizes that they're doing a good job of hiding away from the vision of that catwalk. And a lot of this fight is happening without him, so get involved. I mean, that's the perfect sentiment. I think that's exactly what he's attempting to do. Disengage doesn't go where he planned. He's hoping for a grinder kill there, but can't always happen that way. However, you can find a couple after Xentra helps you out with the Sniper v Sniper win. Sly gonna get 2 on the Ying.
Did Stock slide into the fidget there?
Probably, because I don't see how she gets a double kill that fast without like shattering. But she's running life exchange.
There's like a corpse in there that could tell it, but I guess it just turns into a pink mist at that point. Big healing comes through onto Barrack. Basically the full reset. Illusory Rip is ready to go as well. Might need that one just to bail it out. Clown Fiesta steal it away as Barrack falls. So do Authorities hope for the objective.
Yeah, and Authority, you know, maybe after that first loss, not looking themselves. This has not been an Eevee they could really help contain here. And yeah, you look at these matchups, it feels like it might be difficult for the Eevee to get around, but this Inara is solid. And we haven't seen much involvement from Lumsy so far.
And they have the backline to take it down, certainly. I mean, Leon's one of the better characters to try and deal with Eevee. Try and deal with being locked down by an Ice Storm, which they haven't even had to deal with yet. Here's the Inflame. Nothing really to shoot. Nobody giving any opportunities here. Clown Fiesta biding their time, and they just let it burn out.
Looking for it. Scoping, unscoping means that he's getting the vision, but he's having a hard time finding those quick shots when Hopes does appear. Oh. Beautiful stuff. Emperor of Kato gonna clean up stocks now. Hopes in the back line. 8 streak. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful shot that almost finished off the kill. They've got more than 600 DPS there, though. There's 5 members shooting Lonely Barrack, and so that's gonna continue this push for Clown Fiesta, almost rounding this corner.
I mean, Helps is doing a phenomenal job right now. You're seeing these mid-range shots from like this range. You're doing a good job landing. He's almost always hitting his blink shots, and just hearing the constant blinking is probably something that weighs on Kinessa's mind, on her psyche. That was an opportunity for an ice storm if I've ever seen one.
And I just wonder if he's saving it and he wanted to be safe, and he's really just focusing on stocks. It's interesting. The second solo ultimate that he's given to stocks, it ends up resulting in his death, and so being a little late, I wonder what the decision call was in his mind. Maybe just that, you know, this Leon is the only thing that's really going to hurt me here. The only most consistent form of hit scan damage that I'm going to be dealing with, so let's get her off the table.
Problem was she had just killed 2 people at that point, and you have to be very aware. He's probably super focused, wasn't really watching the kill feed. But committing after 2 teammates are already dead, Stocks finds another one on the Eevee. He's the primary bounty hunter for her. Don't have to aim. Wow. Makes it a lot easier to kill Eevee.
Those are big shots, by the way. Raze is doing a really, really big service because he's just poking people low. Acedex is literally 1 hit right now. If Eevee was around and Hopes is coming back, that could be an easy cleanup. He's going to go onto the back line. He does not find the kill. He's got another wormhole soon, trying to land it, and it's just going to be a defense. They pushed it too far, so they couldn't get back in time.
Too far for their own good.
So let's see this here. Slide to the left. Nope. Slide to the right.
It's clean football.
That's clean football from Slide.
All right. Get her done, son. 7,500 damage. What a round.
What a round for the Ying. Beating the Furia. You don't often see it. Kinessa at the top, though Loomsy getting damage, not finding a ton of kills, though finding nearly the most on his team, and actually nearly the most in the game. So let me take that statement back. It did feel like he probably started getting warm after the round ended and the push began.
Rejuve 3 after just the first round here for Emperor Kato as well. He's going to be difficult to deal with as he starts to ramp up. Death and Taxes is still the same 90%, but he's just absorbing a little bit better. That's an early kill, though, coming through, and now it might be 2. Enlightenment will hit. Most of its damage reduction out. So much healing is happening on the Snar, but they do eventually break the wall.
I mean, there's only so much healing you can get when Death and Taxes Leon is all around you. That's a real big problem, and that's why they really need to get the Sonara off the table. She shuts down so many people just by being alive. Hopes, you look at Sly, you look at Emperor of Kato, all of them are significantly less effective if Leon is just shooting them every now and then.
Nice little ice storm there, but Ash just jumps out of it with the assert dominance there. Cares not for your cripples, peasant. Nice shots landing into the backline, but it's always just, you know, hairline fractures here in the backline. So close to getting these kills, 1 shot away. Eevee just needs a little bit more setup, and I think she'll be driving these kills home.
You just knew it. He wanted to disengage right there. J-Bay with the rocket boots to try and get some healing. Not enough. He is so low, and finally a Kindle Soul will work for him. Missed opportunities all around, yeah.
Blast shot that turret first. You're able to actually just play the splash damage off of it. Important 1v1 here happening. Everybody choking left and right. Erase and Clown Fiesta go ahead and grab it. Beautiful stuff there. Erase goes on to grab a second.
Oh, man, and sometimes, just sometimes, you get a little comfortable with your auto hits. You get a little comfortable with your Valors and your Graces, and then when the second you really need them, they are on cooldown. Those brief 2-3 seconds that's even possible. That's when something like that happens. Erase hits the shots, and it ends up being Clown Fiesta yet again taking the point. And a beautiful blast shot combo there is going to put him in the dust, and another double kill. Man, Erase is really playing out of his mind right now.
He is pouring damage out onto the field at the moment. The last, like, 6 kills have gone to him. Sly finally gets to throw his name in the ring. But my goodness gracious, Erase at the moment. Is he top damage at this point?
I mean, he's got to be. He's hitting everything. I mean, I haven't seen him miss a shot in about a minute.
Dude, and it's funny, like, it was like after all that choke fest with Leon, he just like dialed it in. Beautiful stuff here down the stretch. 2-1 lead, though. The game will not end no matter what happens in this round.
Seismic crash here as well from Emperor of Kato. Clown Fiesta, they smell blood in the water, and they are circling for their prey. 1 minute and 11 seconds on the push. Eccentra, haven't even talked about him, from the Ash to the Sniper. Still taking names. Clown Fiesta with a push. It's 3-1. This set could be over next round.
Hope's finding a lot of kills here. Erase, though, the star of that round. That was momentum, man. A lot of kills happening, one after the other here. This one from distance as well. Beautiful stuff. Knocks a Barrack off, just causing so much havoc with every little facet of the kit.
I mean, just incredible. And Fatal Sign, I actually really don't mind that. I mean, I saw he was reloading a little quickly. That's a nice little level 1 card. And look at that, 5 seconds. I mean, that's value right there.
Yeah. Easy to leverage, almost impossible not to leverage there.
Right.
It doesn't take you much more than 5 seconds to dump a full clip with Cassie. He has top damage by a narrow margin here. Strick struggling at only 45K. Snipers haven't been a huge factor here. Maybe everyone just too aware of it. A lot of these fights happening under the bleachers.
All right, goes for the scout and misses, well, the blast shot essentially. So maybe a little bit too much of the ability usage at that time. Doesn't get complete value, but dang, Erase somehow does it.
How did he get that?
That had to be the slide, Nick. We got to get a replay on that, right? There's no other way. Could it be?
I don't see. And
I mean, he got the final
him
kill.
Still getting the killing blow, right?
Right.
If that's what makes you think that. I don't know.
And
he shook at
Erase
that
is
point.
so good, he doesn't even have to shoot you to kill you.
He knows what he did.
Incredible. He's creating a mythos around him.
And Nara diving the back line here on her horse. Eats a big ol' headshot, but thankfully had Earthen Guard up. Only takes about 1,000 damage there.
Oh.
Cassie just makes it around the corner as well. Another headshot lands, but Loomsy actually brought very, very low.
That's what he needed, Nick. He needed to find Erase. 11 streak. This Cassie, who is killing people without even shooting them,
is whiffing.
has been doing the work. And if he is still alive, well, there's the result. Clown Fiesta take your victory. They finish off the EU PGS with a win. And maybe a little bit of redemption after losing so many of their players to the PPL, seeing members like Alex go to Mouse Sports and then having to rebrand, regroup, and find victory yet again. It comes at the end, but at least it finally happens.
I think they looked pretty rock solid as well. I like the composition. I like the fact that they kind of, took up the onus on their own. That was a pretty early EV peak, and I think they executed it very well. It was second in damage.
Yeah.
That's not always easy to do.
Well, this is going to conclude the EU PGS, and let's take a look at the standings here as it all came to an end this afternoon. 4-2, 4-2, 2-4, 2-4. Saying the same things over and over again, but those are just the scores of the top 2 teams. Team Cryptic and Underrated, congratulations for qualifying for your HRX playoff run. They're going to have a chance to go not only be here in the studio, but fight for a spot to be at DreamHack if they can come out on top against a myriad of excellent teams from the PPL and all across the world. Brazil is a great region, but unfortunately we do not have any games. We actually do. Never mind. I'm being told we do have games for today. So I believe we will be taking a quick break, and we will be coming back for some more Brazil action in the PGS right after this. So what I was saying is I think Poop Diddy Scoop is actually going to be a hit.
I think so too.
I'm telling you, it's going to work.
It's some of the best lyrics I've ever heard.
So anyways, hey guys, welcome back to the Paladins Global Series. My name's Randy, that's Score Miser. In the midst of talking about some potential future hits that we might have in the music industry, we wanted to also let you know that this region is about to find their qualifiers for LAN. HRX is right around the corner, and it's going to be an interesting one to see. We've got the first set, and I believe it will be Rao versus SSG.
Yeah.
SSG really looking to make sure they maintain wins here because Guimas took that win off of them, and now could be a problem.
This is one of those things, the only loss SSG have was when they were missing FRZ God, so it is in that area of, was it just because they were missing pretty much one of the stronger blasters that we've seen in the world, or was it really them losing? So this is probably going to be the best way to answer that.
And is he truly lost?
Yeah.
Is he
That's
back?
a big question.
Right? Is he still missing? That's what I want to know. Rao and Space Station with their bands on the bottom left and right.
Is it the Hakate missing where it's like, hey guys,
Is
I'm
it
retiring, and
right.
then it's like the next 3 weeks I'm also playing with you.
Is it Simsaloo kind of like he subbed in for this week, thanks, but he's also subbing in for next week?
And
kind of a
also
thing?
forever.
And also forever. Or is it just he's really not playing anymore? We'll have to wait and see. But my guess is that he will be playing or we will not be. I don't know. I can't guess this. I was just going to say he's going to be playing here or he's not even going to be going to LAN. But there is a version of my mind where I think that maybe he doesn't play here, but if they go to LAN and they ask him, he might be able to, because his issues are usually with his parents or, you know, whatever his family dynamic is, not allowing him to play because he's focusing on other things. But if that ends up changing because he's got, hey, I've got this ticket to HRX that we've already booked, can I go, right? I mean, they may say yes to that, or he may be able to find a way out of his personal situation to prioritize that moment. And maybe he'll leave SSG up to it to even, you know, have that in the conversation.
Well, as of right now, they've gone for the Inara Cassie. No big priority on blasters. Drogo's is the one I'm thinking of, but just any of them. Willow not being able to show up.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen too much outside of those two lately. But a lot of priority for Nando Ashley on a very solid lineup. But I mean, I'm still thinking one good Drogo's player can tear that down.
Yeah, you're not wrong here. Leon really a fixture in Southeast, in Latin America and in the Southern Hemisphere as far as the Brazil kind of gameplay style. Another big kind of impact champion is Eevee and always has been. You know, Rao here looking to make their absolute statement, their last stand against SSG in the final game of the Brazilian PGS this week, and it's the Moldamba chosen to support them all.
I think some of my favorite things about switching regions is always seeing the different priorities, right? Being able to figure out what exactly do you think is a little bit better.
Yeah.
We've tended to see like SEA, CIS love their Eevee. Whether or not she's in meta for the rest of the world, they always tend to go towards her. And Drogo's is right now at least considered probably the top pick, I would say, around the globe. Maybe not for every single region, as exempled here.
Yeah.
Shown off by Rao. 9th pick for Drogo's, which is probably one of the stronger blasters. So I'm looking at this Eevee as a champion that has to
Doesn't feel like FRZ Gods here.
completely perform.
I don't know. I'm curious to see. I can't wait till I get into this lobby room. He's
There
here!
he is.
Wow.
The demon.
And you know what? Nice surprise. FRZ God is back. And he's up against Gervin, RC Soldier, Outlander, Nada. I mean, this was the team that beat them, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Rao. So Rao beat them. So this is the big game right here.
This is important. And again, Rao.
And only one qualifies. So we need to figure out what happens if they tie it up. And they're at the top of the leaderboards together, but they 2-0. We need to know those situations because only one team is going from Brazil.
And unfortunately,
Can SSG even make it?
that's actually an incredible question. It's one of those areas, especially if it ties up. I think it'd fall to map differentials.
Right. I don't
And
know
so
if they can even make
depends
it.
on how well Rao and SSG have done. And so that week without FRZ God might be, I mean, for them, the end.
That might have been it. I mean, I believe, was it we also need to know if it was a 2-1, right? If it was a 2-0, and they both did the exact same thing, 2-0ing everybody else, then I don't know. Then it would go to head-to-head, but then it would go to something else. You know, I mean, I don't know how close they are. Right now, though, Space Station Gaming not really caring about that, and there really is nothing you can do except play your best here today. FRZ God on the Eevee. Looking excellent. Aries finding the double kill off the pressure he applied. Rao down, but not out, as they lost the first objective.
Not looking how close they are. As far as SSG is concerned, they don't want to be close to anyone in this region. They are looking dominant. As of right now, Midao holding an interesting angle. This is one where we see Inara's kind of try to push forward on Stone Key, but it never really awards a lot of space. There's not a whole lot she can do on her own.
Right.
And so again, I'm still looking over towards this Eevee. As so far the playmaker, can you just get into the back line, weaken them enough that your team can get aggressive?
RC Soldier just firing away on this Leon. He's been a veteran player in Brazil for so long, and now trying to hold back the onslaught. That is SSG. Mitao running forward with the Inara. Chow holding out that right side. RC Soldier still firing away. This is all death and taxes. This is all full anti-heal early game. And that's part of the reasons why they just really have to bide their time. And there it is. There's a Ying ultimate as well coming through. This is going to be giving them a ton of health. A Spexy keeping them nice and safe. But how long will that last?
Trying to do their best. They're going to get a lot of damage, but FRZ God's the one finding all of the blasts where it's necessary. And this is like the perfect kind of way to view the fight, right? That support sees everything that's going on. You're hearing the shot calls come out. Rachel going to be able to pick up a kill onto RC Soldier. The rest of SSG actually pushed back, all looking incredibly low, but the Hexafire is going to come out.
Yeah, the problem is they didn't find the kills there. Ares stays alive as well as FRZ God. It was a really nice attempt. But you could just tell this is an onslaught. This is an avalanche. This is a tsunami that cannot be stopped. It's a force of nature. And I'm talking about Space Station Gaming right now. No one has died.
It is incredibly rough coming into a round. Essentially, you have to do a full mental reset, right? You have to be able to say, well, we got comeback mechanic. We can play against these guys. You're 0-3, 0-4, and then the other 3 members are 0-2. You did not pick up a single kill.
Yeah.
You weren't able to find anything throughout all of that.
That's true.
And so the hardest thing about this round for Rao isn't necessarily the fact that you're going up against Space Station. You have to kind of get against yourselves first and come back into this feeling at least confident a little bit.
Well, all the points you gave me weren't very confident boosting. I will say that, Gore.
They are very hard to
Those
look
weren't
at.
very nice to listen to, but if I'm Space Station Gaming, I'm feeling happy about what you just said, that's for sure. Going in onto Hopes and blinking back in, even though it was very clear to the Ash that he would be back there very shortly. Nada holding down the left side, Space Station Gaming still holding down the objective, and that tends to be a little bit more important as far as Paladins. However, it means to an end. 54% counting here for SSG. Misses, hits it!
Ice Storm's going to come through. It's going to deal some good damage and at least keep everyone controlled. 3 members right now from Rao are kind of corralled up here. They have comeback mechanic, but they are at 7% as opposed to the 69 that Space Station would be able to pick up. FRZ God is just playing around with this mobility like it's nothing.
Yeah.
He blinks in, he blinks out, he soars through. No one has been able to take him down or make him feel scared.
I mean, you could tell that this is a guy who's played Eevee forever, but is a little rusty because he's not hitting his shots. These aren't the flicks that we normally see from him, but it is still a guy who has got Eevee memorized to the point where it's like riding a bicycle. It's not even in his basically conscious memory. It's just all latent. He knows what to do. The blinks, the movements, the soars, the perfect timings, the angles. He was running circles around him, and it ends up buying so much time that Space Station Gaming, again, take a pretty uncontested objective fight.
We always talk about Eevee being very rhythm-based, kind of having to make sure that you know the flow, the way things are going to go. And it's very much like when you practice a song over and over and over again, right? After a while, you just know the song. It doesn't matter whether or not you played it in a year or if it's been 5 years. You're still going to remember it relatively well. You might, like you said, be a little rusty on some of the things, and you can see maybe the rust coming through now. SSG finally dropping some kills. But unfortunately, they lose, what, 2 members. They drop 2 kills total in the 5 minutes the game's been going on.
And that champion is FRZ God on the Eevee, one of the lowest health champions, if actually the lowest in the game. And it's not really as easily said versus done to take her down. She's got a lot of ways to get around that and stay alive. One of her balancing points. Ares here trying to make sure Nada can't stay on the up. But the up and up is all about FRZ God here. He's found a kill on RC Soldier. Ares rolls in at the perfect time. Shoulder bash. Nada finds Rachel. Is that going to be enough? He's dodging all of these shots. Oh, the blast shot cleans it up. There's Kronz trying to make a difference. But unfortunately, his voice will not be heard. This is a protest that is just not going to be solved today. RC Soldier with a double kill, though, maybe giving a little bit of respite on this defense. A triple kill will do, sir. Now SSG have to redo it. But they've got 45 seconds to do so.
Spexy ended. He was the last member standing that could have just gone unkillable throughout the entire game. Unfortunately, going to go through, and like you said, 35 seconds left now. And SSG have plenty of time to come up, but RC Soldier's hitting some phenomenal shots, at least getting poked. But the same issues cropping up that was cropping up during the last round, which is that they're not getting any kills.
I mean, but he dropped from high ground. This is actually a pretty dangerous spot for him to be in. I know he's got the Ashe next to him, and it's the buddy system, and he feels like he's pretty safe, but I think Leon on the high ground is so much more impactful. Right now, though, he's got FRZ God and even Ares who can play above him, and he is in this Cathedral. There's nowhere to run except away from the objective. He's trying to flank. Misses the big shot. A headshot might have done it there, but now the Illusory Rift has bought them time and bought them heals. RC Soldier nowhere to go except back to base, says FRZ God, and he's looking for more. One kill, drops Ares, gets that one. The Winter Witch with the Ice Storm. FRZ God is back, baby. Double kill, and SSG grab the victory.
It started looking real good from round towards the end. It was a little bit too late for it to start looking like that. That's one of those things that if you have that performance towards the beginning, even at the end of the first round, going into the second round, you start picking things up. But I mean, you go killless into the second round, morale starts to go down. You're looking at the fact that it's SSG that you're going up against, and it got, I think, more difficult as time went on. But RC Soldier did have some really good showings.
Well, it's an interesting tale because we still haven't gotten any information on what these map wins look like across the season. So we will have to just keep conjecturing as to what will be the final result if Game 2 does end up going the way of SSG. So as we obviously go into the maps soon here, we'll see which map they will be playing on to determine, I guess, whether this will be something comfortable for SSG. You know, whether Rao will have something up their sleeves against Don't Keep they didn't have the answer.
I'm looking towards the drafting, the way things went. I mean, SSG didn't necessarily get anything that was crazy strong, something that you would consider one of the best in the meta, other than maybe Inara. To me, she's been the best frontline that you could have, but that's because she does the most frontline things of all the frontlines. Whereas everybody else, I mean, they had an Eevee, they had Cassie. Cassie can stand out, but there wasn't any phenomenal exceptional performances from them. It was just kind of like the standard, we're going to come in and just, I'll kill you, you kill him, we're golden.
We're golden. Well, apparently just waiting a little bit, so these maps aren't on your screen yet, but bear with us. We will get that going and get into Game 2 as soon as possible here. SSG, again, at the precipice of doing something that might really just upset the balance of Brazil, because whether they win or not, if they win, they might retake first. If they lose, they might not represent this region. It would be Rao who would be coming, and that would be so, I mean, just monumental for the biggest event of the year for SSG not to be there. So this is a big moment.
I mean, just yesterday we were talking about the fact that SSG is pretty much everyone, we're looking at them as the team to come internationally that can win. If Akate is there for free agent boys and he does get to come to LAN, and that is the way that shakes out in LATAM, then maybe there's another opportunity over there. But SSG are the one team internationally right now that have, with this roster, kind of proven themselves, shown themselves to get better. I think a lot will rely on whether or not their coach can come this next time, because last time he wasn't here. But if they can look like this when they're here, then they could look incredible. But if Rao comes, we don't know what to expect from him.
We don't. We've seen a lot of these players in action, you know, Gervin and RC Soldier, you know, players who have been successful in the past and have made some highlight moments that make you impossible, make them impossible to forget as far as your memory of them. But I don't know. Nobody really strikes, I think, a chord in the hearts of fans and viewers the way SSG has done, and will continue to do if they can make it. But Rao, they are holding on to first. A win from them would surely put them at the top spot and qualify them for HRX. So essentially, it is in Rao's hand. And what we're hearing now is that whoever wins this set qualifies. So SSG one game away from buying their ticket to HRX.
And being able to come here and play against a lot of the teams they've already gone through. And the only team I think right now that, again, save for maybe if Hecate comes back with the boys and they're able to actually come through, that looks like a team that has been able to take games off of some of the top PPL teams in North America as well as in Europe. That makes it even harder for someone like Rao because of their international experience.
You know what an incredible thing, though? I mean, what a great opportunity here. Final week. You just, we play and whatever the better team is wins. We go. Best of 3. Let's go, man. All the cards on the table. I love that kind of aspect of this competition here. And both teams have deservedly been here. They've had a tremendous run all over these 6 weeks. And this is the lineup that Rao is going to stick with. The Leon, the Damba, the Andrew Drogos bands, the Inara, the Ruckus, and the Cassie. This is what they're building their hopes on, to be able to make it to Game 3 and have a chance at HRX. And SSG are betting it all on Talus, Willow, Barrick, Tyra, and Furia. A solo Barrick to go to HRX. How do you feel?
I mean, if you're looking at Rao and you're trying to figure out what is the most consistent composition we could ever get, it is an Inara with a Maldamba, Cassie, and Leon, because all 4 of those always perform. They always end up doing their job, and it never tends to look rough unless you're up against a team that is able to take those steps out of there, be able to find that little bit of difference that will break down what is the tried and true. Is it solo Barrick? Honestly, if it wasn't Jaguar Falls, I would be upset about it because I feel like it doesn't work as many places except here. But because we're on Jaguar Falls, because it's SSG, I have a little faith that this is going to look good.
Rachao on that beautiful Hunter's Mark. Tyra. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Is this going to be a game for the ages? But it could be over quickly. I mean, if Space Station Gaming have that same type of confidence and just dominance that they had last time, and it looks like Nada with nearly no health is the first to feel the ire of that performance, then it should be a quick and simple wrap-up for this set. And oh my god, before I'm finished handing it over to you, Gore, everyone on Rao is dead. That's impressive.
You remember when we were talking about him, I had mentioned that FRZ God is considered one of the best blasters in the world.
Yeah.
There's a good reason for that. It's not just because of how strong it looks when you're in Brazil, but it's because of how strong it has looked at every international land that SSG has been able to come to with him.
Yeah.
And it says something when he is able to go from Eevee to Willow to the Drogos to the Bomb King. Whatever he wants to play, it's going to look good.
And I mean, what a story as well. I mean, the way that they have just translated, I think, some of the roles. Ares, when I first saw him playing, was playing this sort of like damage-dealing, focused style. And now it seems like after coming to land and playing the Khans and playing the Ruckus, playing these Fernandos, playing things that put him on the more aggressive front lines, they've got him back onto things like the Cassies and like the Taluses. So maybe Space Station Gaming just making a new identity for themselves, discovering different ways to make their players succeed. And look at that, 625 off the 25% bonus damage the Hunter's Mark is granting to SSG from Tyra.
One of the things we've been looking at least I have, is these teams that have been international, specifically your Na'Vi, your Envy, and SSG falls into this category. Teams that can adapt on the fly, teams that can learn from their opponent and adapt it into something they can pull off is something they have been exceptional at. And SSG, I think right now, are actually showcasing it. This is something I don't think I ever would have seen them run in the past, but because they've seen it be successful, they know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, and they truly can't do anything. They truly can't do a thing because there's no time. No ultimates are even available on the side of Rally Sports, and Willow's 36% charged on the way to her second. I mean, she's lapped him. And I mean, looking to lap him again. FRZ God with 2 at the end, 14 streak. No one's dead. SSG, one more point, one more push away from going to HRX.
If you blinked, you might have missed that round, but it did happen. A full capture, full push from SSG. And just looking at the slash lines, a couple of 1-0s there, so maybe some last hits coming down. But FRZ God 9-0-5. He is 12k damage ahead of the next highest, which, by the way, the top 4 are all on Space Station. The only person not doing as much is a Spexy, which is exactly what you want out of your support. So with the way things are going, I think he's feeling just fine. And a lot of this, you're looking towards the Twilight, being able to get that dead zone up a little bit often, or a little bit more. Just believe the secondary card, which is allowing this snowball for FRZ God. Eliminations, reducing the cooldowns, and because of that, this seedling, this dead zone just keeps coming up.
FRZ God with a 14 streak and wanting to continue that number. But look at this, Mid-Tow goes down, and all of this is about having that solo barrack succeed. Comeback mechanic now for Rao. It is not over yet. Don't count your chickens before they end up hatching here. And maybe just waiting for ultimates, maybe waiting for all 5 members, maybe just waiting for their tank because they only have 1. Is what Space Station Gaming are doing. Dread Serpent, I can hear it in the background, and here's a Hexafire from Gervin. Oh no, but it really doesn't get much
It gets zone.
It gets
and
the
that's
zone.
all you need. You just had to keep SSG off the point, and that's what they do. At least long enough to be able to get that. Now kills are starting to come through for Rao. That's exactly what you
Wow.
need. But FRZ God, he finally goes down, but it takes way too long to get it.
And we've seen that with Willow Gore. I mean, this the fact that you have to sometimes wait your time, that wind up, flying into the air, getting to your spot. Once you do, everyone's dead. But in that time, you could still capture the objective. It was a really nice retake from Rao, and now we'll see if they can continue to push. Can they keep this momentum? Gervin's Hexafire was off the mark, but can his zone, can his pressure be? Kron's getting pressured out again, and Midtown is going to find the final kill on that one. True power here onto Gervin. Onto the Ruckus, a very interesting target. I don't think Ares thought he was actually going to find the kill there, but I think he just wanted to find momentum, and look at this. He somehow made it out and is still alive, fighting in the gourd, and Gervin will die as a response, so they said go, and they all went.
And all of it is the fact that they've gone into record. This is one of the things I was actually mentioning it yesterday while we were looking at console. For me, the Talus Ruckus matchup literally goes to, did Talus buy Wrecker? If Talus buys Wrecker, then he can win that fight because he can shoot just a little bit more and a little bit harder than what you're going to see out of Ruckus. But if you don't have that Wrecker, then that fight falls in favor so heavily of Ruckus that it will make or break your team. So because he's gone that so early on, Gervin is actually an easy target for him.
And you know, it's kind of rough, right? Because so many other champions there. And I mean, Talus pretty good at applying Cauterize. And the only champion that deals with Wrecker is the Ruckus. So he's really focused on taking the Ruckus down. You can almost see why he went on to Gervin and said, let me break the shields down. Let me finish him off. Because he's the one who's equipped to do it. He's itemized for it. It's intentional. Even though the Inara is just tanky, not caring about that item at all.
And it's the other conversation we end up having where it's just like, do you need the Cauterize if you have anti-diluvian? You're losing, I think, 15% anti-heal at the top end when you get Cauterize 3. But, I mean, until you spend all those credits to get Cauterize 3, you're going to have more from just one of your loadout cards than what you would get from the item. And so we've seen a lot of teams, a lot of players at the top end start to shift away from buying Cauterize as often in favor of the Wrecker if they can have that kind of things. Cassie will do it, Leon will do it, and I feel like Talus falls right into that same equation.
5 seconds left on this attempted push, but it really has gone nowhere, and this is what I think has got to hurt for Rao. They know now it's 1 point away. They had a chance. They captured it. Man, that point was really squandered here as far as even pushing it halfway, and maybe that's it. The Inflame, the early aggression, the stun. I mean, so many things interrupted what could have been a retake there. All the credit to RC Soldier for doing his best in that moment, but Space Station Gaming were caught with their pants down a bit.
17, 1, and 8 for FRZ God.
Not enough.
That's about
Not
how this
good
game
enough.
has been feeling. If I'm on the side of Rao, I'm looking at Willow. How do we take care of it? You have a nice Leon. You have a great Cassie that can deal with that. But the problem is then looking at what has been able to come through. RC Soldier has some phenomenal performances, but they're coming through in terms of 3 kills. You get a triple kill here, you get a triple kill here, but you need a little bit more than that. You need a little bit of performance either from your Cassie, or you just have to target this Willow outright to kill her off.
And here it is, the Willow coming in at the perfect time. Oh, was that a beautiful stun? RC Soldier, he goes down, and that's going to be a very, very hard fight for Rao Esports to win. They've lost 2. One of them is the Sagala, and now it looks like FRZ God is off to the races. Another kill, make that 19, maybe 20-1, and his comeback, which surely will send SSG to HRX.
84% and rising, and unless something stellar comes through, I mean, RC Soldier's alive, you're going to be able to dash in. Gervin, he almost instantly got deleted.
He absolutely got demolished. No chance in this life or the next. SSG, they're going to be your qualified representatives here from Brazil. A nice stun, but SSG are happy, and the Paladins high-res invitational spray couldn't be more appropriate. Congratulations to them for owning this region and taking it to the mountaintop. We will see you here in November. Very, very excited.
I'll say compliments to Rao, though, for making it as close as it is. I mean, you get 6 weeks in, and it comes down to your last best of 3 against each other.
That's crazy.
You are just in that scenario where, honestly, you go to an alternate timeline, Rao's the one coming to land, and things are completely different from here on.
It would have been crazy for, I think, the entire community, and Rao would have made a real big statement in Brazil if they were able to do that. But, you know, just because it's not this time doesn't mean it won't be next year. Clearly a lot of pieces that have worked together, and just one faltering step, one little opportunity, and it feels like Rao could have been there, like you mentioned. Guimos Academy and Pro Erd. Pro Erd really haven't found any wins. I think Guimos's both wins have come off of Pro Erd, as they are 0-5, and so that's the matchup that I believe we will have next.
It's going to be interesting to see if Guimas can come through and have a lot of strength. Otherwise, Pro Erd are maybe going to find their first win. There's actually a lot really to go for that team. Looking at this region again,
That's
when you
true.
look towards the top, obviously your goal is to get to land. When you look at the bottom, you just need to get a win. That's that's what you're hoping for right now.
It's what the Splices of old, it's what the Mouse Sports of current hoped for, and it's also what I think Clown Fiesta achieved today. It's not that hard. You found a bottom team who was taking on a team that had plenty of more wins, but they ended up doing it, and it was just putting together a performance. Anybody can win a best of 3 in Paladins. I mean, you talk about those workout classes that say, it's 5 seconds, just do it one more time, one more rep, and it's like, anybody can do anything for 5 seconds? Yeah, 5 seconds, sure, okay. And that's really what they have to look at today. Your season is gone, you have one game, win it, and that's all you have to ask yourself.
Guimas, I think, notably have been having a rougher time in the last few weeks than we saw, I think, at the very initial part of the split. So coming into this is probably the best time for Pro Erd to finally step up and try to find that, but a lot of it comes down to the fact that there's been map picks that just haven't gone their way, drafts that haven't gone their way, and that's kind of like you said, when you look at the teams that have always been looking for it, the first step is finding those small wins. Can you get a good draft for your team? Can you get the first round? Can you get a couple of kills? Like, can you keep rolling to the point where, okay, now we have a map win. Now we go for the second map. You just rinse and repeat and try to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And at this point, when you're 0-5, even a map win is going to be big for you.
Yeah, I mean, even a map win, you know, it is possible. We've seen a lot of teams, you know, have these highly contested moments, but just not be able to put it together at the end. So we see a lot with teams at the bottom level of the tier they're competing in, right? They'll do well, but they just won't get the final win. They won't have that last thing that turns the dial. And honestly, that's really what it's about. I mean, coming from a competitive background myself, I mean, there were so many moments where I felt like just outgunned, outclassed for a little while. Take a summer off, you find a new rhythm, you think about something differently, and you turn the dial, and all of a sudden, problems that were problems past, no issues now. You know, you're controlling that area of competition. So we are getting these maps up for you soon. Again, it will be the bottom team, Pro Erd, fighting against Guimas Academy in the second set of Brazil. If you're just joining us now, it's Space Station Gaming, who will be qualified as your LAN representative for this region again, and that would make them LAN reps all year. Pretty much, I mean, in the history, these guys have been coming to all of our events, so a pretty big accomplishment for them.
And their big change-up always did come when you roll far enough back and Ares was able to be picked up by SSG. That made a big difference when they finally get to come to LAN, because that's when we first start seeing them as a threat. And then, of course, then we see North America start scrimming them a lot more often, and then it becomes, okay, these guys could actually win a LAN as long as things go their way.
Well, we did get some information just now, ladies and gentlemen, that the broadcast will be coming to an end. Unfortunately, the games that we have are not available to show you all, but we do have the results for you in case you're interested. It is Guimas 2-0ing Pro Erd. You might have expected that looking at the standings, and unfortunately, Pro Erd will go this entire PGS 6 weeks without a victory, but Guimas will have 3. And that's pretty dang good, which also means that Guimas might have delivered one to... or maybe those were up. I don't know. They couldn't have delivered them to one another. Maybe they'll just have 2. No, they have 3. They play each other 3 times, right? No.
They play each other
twice.
Twice.
So I guess maybe either the stats were updated early or something like that, but they already had their 2 wins. I don't think they came to Rao. Oh, they did. They did. Obviously, it's 4-2. My bad. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Either way, Guimas getting a few wins in their belt, and Space Station Gaming and Rao having an incredible kind of battle of titans, but Space Station Gaming, they do end up being the father titan after all.
Well, the rest of the week I think is going to be interesting. A couple of matchups that we've already seen in the past. Of course, this is going to be the last week, so a lot of the teams are playing someone else they played again, but I think my eyes more or less are on Friday, because we have Free Agent Boys, Zagatal, and Gaming, both of them in the same scenario, I think, that we just saw out of Rao and SSG.
Yeah, we'll try to have those numbers for you as we start that broadcast, because it is important to know those win clinching scenarios, what the map differences put. And it was just a straight up win today. That's going to be it for our PGS, ladies and gentlemen, but don't forget that today on Mixer.com/Paladins game is the start of your PPL Week 5, I believe. And so we've got 2 more weeks to go. This one will be a doubleheader for Mouse Sports taking on, I believe, Fnatic and NIP. And so stay tuned for all that at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Gormizer, and Pretty Air will be there to bring you through the action. As always, friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming. We'll see you all in the realm.
Just hear